Hey everyone, it's Matt, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 4 mistakes that I made while I was suffering from retroactive jealousy. 4 mistakes that I was doing that I thought I was doing the right thing when I was doing them, but unfortunately I was not. Now I know that, and I'd like to share those things with you in case you're going through some similar things and don't suffer the same consequences as I did. Now, before we get started, if you could just take a quick second, go ahead and smash that like button. That will help get this video out to more people who really need to see it. And also, if you have not already, please subscribe to this channel for more relationship and retroactive jealousy content. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the first mistake I made was every single time, a intrusive thought would come into my head about my partner's past, whatever it might be, a one-night stand, about an ex, whatever it is, I would explore the thought over and over and over again. I thought that by exploring the thought and diving deeper into the thought and thinking more and more about it and playing a mental movie in my head, trying to get to the bottom of it, was how I could cure it. I thought if I could rationalize it and find a way to be okay with it, then it would stop bothering me. Needless to say, I was very, very wrong about that. I can remember times I'd go into my bedroom and shut the door for like an hour and just sit there and think to myself, I can think my way out of this. I can think my way out of this. I just need an hour. Just need an hour to sit there. So I'd just lay in my bed and just think of all these different scenarios and get all tangled up in everything. And by the time my hour was up, I was more anxious than I ever was when I even started the exercise. So I started to realize that maybe this isn't the right way to do it. But that was my whole idea. That's just kind of what I thought. I didn't know any better. It's almost like any situation that we're in, that we need to contemplate something, like, even if it's like, say you want to buy a TV and it's a very expensive television, and you need to, go home and think about it. And you go home and think, okay, you weigh the pros, you weigh the cons. Should I get this TV? Well, I worked hard this year. I really deserve it. Oh, but I could be saving all this money. Oh. And then when you finally decide to get the TV, you feel like you have to find a way to rationalize it and say, well, I'm getting it because of this, 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 and this. So you can kind of tell people, if they ask you, and you can seem like you know what you're doing, or you really have your head wrapped around it. So that kind of the same thing happened with me, and probably with many of you when it comes to your retroactive jealousy, intrusive thoughts, is this idea that if I can just get to the bottom of this, if I could just think my way through it, man, I'll have all the answers and I'll just find a way to be absolutely okay with it. But fortunately, that's not okay, and that's just not how it works. So the more you explore into these thoughts, the more power you actually give them. Retroactive jealousy feeds off of your attention. So the more you think an RJ thought, the more you dive into it, the more you play the movies in your head over and over and over again, the stronger the retroactive jealousy gets. It's like, I gave an example in another video, it's like you're feeding the dragon. Retroactive jealousy is a big dragon, and every time you indulge in a thought and think more into the thought and get lost in it, you're just feeding the dragon and making it stronger and stronger and stronger. And I didn't know that, so little did I know what I thought was helping me was actually hurting me. It was a very, very big mistake. I was creating more routes for this retroactive jealousy to go down instead of shrinking it and creating less. Because now all of a sudden, let's say I knew a piece of information that, my girlfriend had a one-night stand with this guy, and they met at this place, at this club, we'll say, and she went back home with him, and they did their business, and then that was it. And maybe that's all the information I knew. Well, now all of a sudden I've created this whole scenario of, yeah, they went back to his place. Oh, I wonder if they sat on the couch. I wonder if they watched the movie for a little bit. I wonder if when they got into his bed, they did this, or did they even have sex in the bed? Was it somewhere else? And I'm creating this whole movie, this whole book, this whole situation that is all made up because I have no idea, right? But it's creating more ways for retroactive jealousy to sweep in. So now anytime I'm, sitting with my girlfriend or whatever and watching a movie, I think, oh, she probably sat on the couch with this other guy and watched a movie, when probably they didn't, but I made it up that they did, and retroactive jealousy found a way to, latch on to that that made up thought and turn it into something very, very big. So the key with that I soon learned is don't explore the thoughts. When they come in, allow them to come in, but just refocus your attention on something else. You know, if I'm playing a computer game or something and a thought comes in, feel the emotion of the thought, but don't start playing that mental movie. Don't dive into it. Just, you can recognize that the thought has come in. I see you, I feel you, retroactive jealousy, but I'm back to playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. I'm back to doing whatever I was doing, and just keep refocusing, and don't give any energy to the thought. Don't give any more food to the dragon. Just keep focused on what you're doing. And that was big for me when I figured out that that's what I needed to do, and exploring the thought was completely wrong. The next mistake I made was to ask questions and to look for answers. And I've talked about this a lot in other videos of how you should just not ask the questions, not look for answers, because you don't need all the answers. And I understand if you're really suffering hard from retroactive jealousy right now, you feel like you do need the answers. But when you're out of it, you realize that you just don't need them. It really doesn't matter. You know, as silly as it might seem, it really doesn't matter. But I'm at that point now where I just don't really care. Like, if I were to find something else new out, like, okay, great. But if I wasn't, okay, great. There's no anxious response or attachment to any of these thoughts anymore. But again, I thought that the more I knew, the more I could rationalize it, the more I could be okay with it, or the more I knew and the more I learned that maybe her past wasn't that bad, then I could be okay. Or if I learned more and her past was bad, then I could break up with her and not have to deal with it. But asking questions and looking for answers and things like that, it's all one big compulsive behavior. Again, it only feeds this retroactive jealousy dragon and only makes it stronger, because you're giving your attention to it. You're letting it play with your mind. You're letting it take control over you. And you're causing a lot more harm than good in your relationship by questioning, poking at your partner, trying to find the answers. I remember making girlfriends cry and my wife cry, a lot of people, because of questions that I just pry and try to find the answers to. And when they gave an answer I wasn't satisfied with, that didn't calm my anxiety, I'd say, no, that's a lie. Tell me the truth, tell me the truth, tell me the truth. And it just creates, terrible, terrible harm in your relationship, in your life, everything. I know it made me afterwards, when I was making people cry, when I was making the people that I loved cry, it made me feel like this big of a man. So understand that asking questions, trying to find answers, it's one big compulsive behavior. You can't do it. It's not going to help you. You might think it will, but it won't. It might give you temporary relief, but again, the relief is very, very, very temporary. And then your retroactive jealousy is going to come back in full form. So if you really think you need to ask one more question, don't do it, because that leads to another question, and that leads to another question. Okay? Sit with the unknown. Be okay with the unknown. Be okay with discomfort, because guess what? That emotion, that discomfort, that's going to go away. It's going to go away. And there were a lot of things I wanted to ask my previous partners, my wife, a lot of things I wanted to ask that, you know, I just couldn't contain it. I had to do it. And now don't even remember what they were. You know, I didn't even ask. I felt the emotion. I just let it be. I was okay with the unknown. And now I don't even remember what they were. And it would drive me off the wall. So the emotion's going to pass. So just don't indulge in it. Don't feed the dragon. Don't give in to the retroactive jealousy. Don't ask questions. Don't go looking for answers. Be okay with not knowing a little bit. It's okay. The next mistake I made was letting my emotions take control of me, and mostly my anger. And I was at the point where my retroactive jealousy would sometimes just make me feel so angry, just random bouts of anger. I remember being with my wife when she was still my girlfriend and some friends, and we were downtown and we were going to different restaurants, and we were figuring out, you know, what restaurant we wanted to go to. And I just remember that day I was filled with a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of kind of panic attacks from retroactive jealousy earlier today, and my anxiety levels were very high, and we couldn't decide on a restaurant. And one of our friends wanted to go to this place, my wife wanted to go to this place, and I remember just getting so upset and being like, we're here with our friends, we need to let them decide where to go. And just so much anger just released out of me because I did felt so angry that I had to get it out. And everyone was just like, whoa, like, we're not even hungry anymore. But I let that anger and I let those emotions get the best of me. And again, at the time, I thought that's what I needed to do. I feel angry, I need to release this anger. I feel anxious, I need to release. I feel sad, I need to release, whatever, to get it out of me. But the truth is, these emotions pass. And it's better to, feel the emotion. Again, if you feel angry, you can feel anger, but understand that you're not going to feel anger forever. Like maybe a few minutes, maybe an hour or something like that, but it's going to pass. And so what I come to learn is, like, in times when I feel this way, to just stop, breathe, relax, and understand that this feeling's gonna pass. And once this feeling passes, if I still feel like saying what I need to say, okay, then I can say it, but at least I'm much calmer and I could probably have a conversation with someone and work something out. But don't act initially on your instant emotions, because retroactive jealousy is gonna make you feel a lot of ways. It's gonna make you feel a lot of ways very instantly. And if you react instantly to that instant emotion, you're gonna cause a lot of harm in your life, when in actuality, you might be able to take a breath and say, you know what, I'm feeling kind of angry right now, but is this real anger? Like, did something happen to me physically? Or is this just my head playing tricks on me? Is this just my retroactive jealousy getting the best of me? And more than likely, it's your retroactive jealousy. And when it is, you can just say, like, okay, RJ, I see you, I feel you, but you know what? Not now. I'm gonna do this. And just keep going forward with your day. Keep doing what you're doing. Take a breath, relax, and be brave, have the courage, and keep pushing through your day. And that kind of leads us into the last one. And the last one is, the last mistake I made was thinking that downtime would help me overcome retroactive jealousy. And again, I kind of alluded to this before, that like kind of locking myself in a room and thinking thoughts over and that was going to help. I thought that downtime was going to help. I thought that, going to work and seeing friends and doing all this stuff was bad for me. And then if I could just have, a week of just thinking things over and relaxing and not worrying about anything, that the RJ would disappear. And I can remember distinctly, I was working at this time for a hotel, and I actually went in and told my manager that my grandfather had passed away, so I could get some time off work. Now, my grandfather had passed away, but this was about 3 years earlier, so it wasn't a complete lie. But I told them that because I thought, man, if I could just have a week off and not have to go to work and not have to deal with anything, I can overcome retroactive jealousy. This will be easy. I'll have no distractions, nothing. So I told them, hey, my grandfather passed away. I need a week off, And of course, they gave me the week off. And so I was so excited, so happy. I'm like, yes, by the time I come back in 1 week, I'll have retroactive jealousy kicked in the butt. It'll be perfect. It'll be awesome. So I spent like a whole week in my bedroom thinking things over, trying to figure it out, reading a bunch of books, trying to figure things out. And all this stuff was like system overload. And I realized I was then secluded because I didn't want to see anybody or hang out with anybody. I just wanted to get this done. And more thoughts came my way and more things came my way. And in 1 week's time, when I came back to work, my retroactive jealousy had like doubled. I was worse, so much worse than I had. And I remember coming back into work that next day and just feeling like so defeated, like, oh my gosh, I just took a week off without pay to get over this stupid thing. And now I'm back and it's worse than it was. And so what I came to find out was working and actually going about your life normally is how you do it. You just get on with your life. That's how you get over retroactive jealousy. You get on with your life, even if it sucks, even if things feel painful, even if there's a lot of stuff going on, you just get on with your life. And when you just realize, or when you just tell RJ, retroactive jealousy, you can come, you can be here, you can make me feel how whatever you want to make me feel, but I'm just gonna do what I need to do and go about my day. I'm gonna see the people I want to see. I want to make people smile, make people laugh. I want to do all that stuff. I want to be me, regardless of what thoughts you got bringing on to me, regardless of what emotions you bring up. I'm still gonna be me. And that's key, because you're shrinking your RJ. You're making it not seem important at all, because it's not. and you're focusing on what you need to do. And this reminds me of a really cool story of Teddy Roosevelt. This was, I mean, of course, a long time ago. Teddy Roosevelt was giving a presidential speech, a campaign speech, I believe it was. And right before he was going up to his campaign speech, someone shot him in the chest. And he had like some notes and like his case of eyeglasses on his chest. So the bullet kind of went through that and then went into his chest. And he got up, and the first line of his speech was like, I don't know if you know this, but I just got shot. And he took off his jacket, and he had blood and everything, like the bullet was inside of him. And he said, but, you know, I'm here, and your presidential, you know, vote means a lot to me, so I'm just going to read my speech and hope you enjoy. And he went on and he gave an 84-minute speech while he had a bullet inside of him. So that's almost, I mean, that's kind of an extreme example, but just to show you, like, it's possible, right? We don't have bullets inside of us, but we have this retroactive jealousy monster inside of us that wants to control us. But we can still go about our day. We can still do the things that we need to do, okay? And if we do that, that's getting over retroactive jealousy. That's shoving it to the side. That's telling it you're not important. I got more important things to think about and do. And when you just continue on with your life, doing what you want to do, regardless of how you feel and regardless of how strong your RJ comes onto you, boom, you're going to get over it, and you're going to get over it fast. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please take just a quick moment, go ahead and smash that like button. Also subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already for more retroactive jealousy and relationship content. And if you're not a member of the course already, please check out my really cool discount I got going on the course. I'll leave the description in the link in the description below. And also, if you want to be a part of the free Retroactive Jealousy Facebook community, I'll leave the link in the description below as well. Thanks everyone for joining me today. I hope this gave you some value. Hope you learned some things from it, and see you in the next video.